all of our personal successes have been hosted, like internally, if you like. We've always done the promotion ourselves. We've done everything down to the detail ourselves, and that's what it comes down to as a musician. You need to stop waiting around for people to fix problems. Find out what the problem is. Find out that guy who you usually go up to and kind of ask a question like a promoter, and put yourself in a position where he doesn't matter anymore. If you've got a guy where, you know, he's saying you need to sell 50 tickets before you can go anywhere near this venue, all you need to do is you need to find a way to create a fan base, solve the problem yourself, turn up to that venue with a fan base and say, listen, I don't care who you are, you're not taking my money because I've got the crowd with me. I don't know what you're doing sitting there taking my money. I don't know how you've tried to earn that money other than making a poster. But you need to stop and get out of my way.
Yeah. They're like loan sharks, really, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, essentially.
We had problems with them years ago, and they just come back in different suits, don't they? Anyway, so how many acts at the moment do you currently have on your roster? Is it just Fiorian and the Filthy Palms?
Yeah, we have Fiorian and Filthy Palms at the moment, but we do actually have one other act due to sign up. We're just going through the formalities with them at the moment. We act, you know, as any professional label would. Just because we're operating on a small basis with a friendlier ethos doesn't mean that we can compromise on quality. So we're just vetting them, if you like, getting their stuff together and making sure that they come out strong when they sign to us. So
you're not rushing into anything?
Pardon? I didn't get that.
Sorry, you're not rushing into anything then?
No, not rushing into anything. Everything has to be done properly, and that's the other thing, you know, if you're going to do something like this and you want to make a difference, whether it be morally or in terms of attitude and determination, you've got to get every detail right, because it's much easier to make a change when you're the best at what you're doing, as well as having the right intention. It's a
relatively new label as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's only 7 months old, but we've already got UK-wide influence. We're already in all of the Unsigned guides. We've got plenty of people contacting us. We're about to seal a deal with a corporate in America, so things are going really, really well for us. But,
sounds really positive stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's getting bigger and bigger every day, and it's all down to attitude and hard work. And I think that's another piece of advice I could actively hand out to people looking to go somewhere. I think everyone in music knows that if you do want to do something, you need a team around you, and you can't do it alone. So
you can't.
Yeah, exactly. So, like you've done with your radio station, my apologies, radio station. You know, you've started on your own, and it was just an idea in your head, but you've gathered people around you who actually care, and I think that's something else that bands really need to remember. For all those times that nobody cares, there's always someone in the world that will, and you just need to find those people, group them together, and use it as a driving force to make a difference, because there will always be a negative majority against you in the world. It's the way it works, unfortunately.
Of course, I mean, I've always believed from day one that I want this to build into something bigger and better, sort of a network, something a bit more powerful. And because I think Liverpool's got, you know, we've got a couple of unsigned radio shows, we've got a couple of promoters, we've got all this going on, but nobody's actually working together. Everyone seems to be just pulling at each other. So there's nothing, there's no sort of strong hub of anything going on, you know what I mean? That's why I got the likes of Nic from the Mersey Gig guys on board. Because two people work better than one, you know. And then essentially once I've got a few people involved with the show, then it will be a much stronger platform. And the likes of record labels and things like that will take more notice of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're doing things in the right way, because like it's really obvious to me, like with every podcast and broadcast that I've come through and listened to, you're not only enthusiastic about the music, but you're moral, and you're genuinely passionate about what you're doing. And as you say, something that is really, really important, and definitely not something to gloss over, I
just see the amount of talent that's out there, you know. As I say, I'm playing it week in, week out, and it breaks your heart when you turn on the radio when you hear the crap that's in the charts. So it's a kick up the arse for me as well. And not only that, can I say, but you know, these bands that I do work closely with, when I go to see them do gigs and things like that, you know, they've all got jobs. You know, they're all going to gigs. They're not getting paid at a lot of the gigs they do. So that's why you don't hear me sat around whinging, you know, well, I'm not getting paid for this and things like that, because the way I look at it, we're all working together, you know.
That's it, and that's absolutely right. And that was very much the next thing I was going to say. It's all about working together, and you've got to get to a point where you've got to realise at the start, at the very beginning, that whether you set up a station or a label, just in the way that me and you have done, nobody owes you anything. And if you want to make a difference, you need to go out with the attitude of, I don't care about money. I'll get paid if I deserve to get paid. I don't care about that. And you need to go out and do the right thing. And the thing that people often miss about music, particularly younger bands, I've got to say... Sorry, what was that?
No, I didn't say no. It's okay.
Oh, sorry, I heard a funny noise on the line. It's okay. Something that young bands, perhaps, and a lot of bands in general have to realise is they treat music like a competition. So I want to draw attention to a real fundamental of music. If you ask anyone who doesn't know about music, about the music business, and how to succeed in music, they'll say, it's not about how good you are, it's who you know. And that's half right. But the point is, and the reason that that's come across is because this music business is all about networking. It's about driving things as a group of friends. It's about driving things as a force together in the same way as any kind of party and anything would. But the thing that bands don't realise is their selfishness in, competing with people, not helping with people, not watching the other bands at the end of the night. That's one of the pet hates I have.
Oh, me too. I've been with a few bands before. I went to see them, and then you walk away from the band after they finish playing. You just go like that. You put your hands in your head, don't you?
Yeah, and that's it. It's really annoying. I mean, my lot and the Filthy Palms, we have an actual code that we will stick around. If we need an emergency dash, fine, but we will at least explain ourselves, before. But these bands that come into a venue, play the show, and leave, it's just not the good thing to do, because at the end of the day, that band that you've just not watched, they could be real friends to you in the future, and that's the thing you need to miss. So even if you are being completely selfish about it, which I, obviously don't condone, you should make friends, you should make an effort with other people, and you should network with people, because nobody's going to carry you and nobody's going to care about you if you don't care about them. It's common sense, but it's not to most people.
It's nice. That's what I think is most maddest about that is, they are trying to make contacts and things like that, and you see small bands and they walk away and don't listen to the band. But what's that band going to think that are playing on that night? They're going to think, well, you're not getting on our booking next time, you know what I mean, mate? So you're shutting doors on yourself, aren't you, by doing that, I think?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about making friends, being positive, having drive. Like one of the decent bands in Liverpool at the moment, who I'm very proud to say I know is Whackers. What I'm sure you're familiar with them.
A
lot of people would look at Hegarty, who are Whackers band, and go, they're just a bunch of old guys. But the fact is, they have gone totally against the grain of everything that people would expect.
Really?
They are a bunch of older than usual guys, but they're still totally tearing it up, and they're writing great songs, and that just kind of emphasizes my point. If you have the attitude and you have the team and you have the passion to do it, nobody is in your way, and all the gatekeepers that you have to look up to, it's simple. Just find out what their job is, get better at it than them, and then you can move them right out of the way.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I talk to Wacker a lot, because I'm pretty new to the music scene and to broadcasting, to be fair, so I sort of run things by him a lot, you know what I mean? If I'm talking to somebody, even yourself, even getting in touch with yourself, I said to him first, this Dan guy's he alright? And he's like, yeah, he's sound, mate, yeah. So, I trust him a lot with things like that,
Wacker's a very good man. You can trust him for a solid opinion. He'll never give you any guff.
Exactly. He's done me well so far, like. And the name Pyar Records, how did that come about?
Pyar Records is how it sounds. It's a Scoutism. We've just found out something really, really interesting about it, but I'll start from the beginning. We just thought that, when you go around Liverpool and you're like, that's Pyar, good, that makes, it's just one of those things that is a total Scoutism, but to everyone else, it's kind of an in-joke that they don't get, which is cool to us. But then we found out that actually Pyar, but it's spelled P-Y-A-A-R in this particular instance, means love in Indian, Hindi more specifically.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Total accident.
I just have to change it around a bit.
Yeah.
So Dan, who runs the label alongside with you, mate? Is it just, do you have a studio where you record, things like that?
We do. We've got quite a decent operation going. I'm quite fortunate, and my father is extremely supportive in what I do. And whilst I don't have a silver spoon in my mouth, so to speak, he's definitely helped me do things that I couldn't have done without him. So we've started this team, which consists of myself and the other bands. We've got, so just to name a few, we've got Damien, who plays drums in Fury and is a booking agent just because he so happens to have a lot of experience in it. We have Joe working on van rental because this is how passionate my band are. His dad actually passed away, which is really sad, of cancer when he was younger, and he left some savings. But Joe believes so much in the future of this label and the future of Liverpool music that he actually bought a Mercedes touring van that us and other people could use out of his life savings that his father gave him when he passed away. So, that's the kind of calibre of person that we've got on board. Yeah. And as for studio, we actually run Mercury Music Studio, which is over in Birkenhead, which a lot of people have had positive experience with, and I'm very proud to say I'm one of the lead engineers there. Sorry.
I've heard of Mercury Studios before, yeah.
Yeah, it's a family-run business, and we're basically, in the same way as the record label is, we're just dedicated to bringing people all the qualities that they deserve for their hard work, but not at the prices.
Yeah,
so that's simple, really.
Well, that's going to be, once I eventually open a recording studio, I'm not looking to make massive profit. I just want to be able to quit the day job, earn a normal standard living wage, and be able to do the show and put more time into the show, you know what I mean? So it's all about progress.
The way it goes. That sounds fantastic, and I think you'll absolutely be able to do that if you keep going at the rate that you are, because the first year for Round Sound, from everything I've seen over your shoulder, has been crazy good.
Yeah, I've had an exceptionally good year, as I say, because it only started out as an idea, as a bit of a theory. I work with lots of bands now, and it's great fun, but I think the way the show's going, if I don't act now and change it round, I think within a year's time it'll all get too much for me and I'll have a fucking nervous breakdown, to be honest with you. So I think I need to branch out, get a few more people involved. I've got another presenter joining in January and things like that. So I'm always keeping me ears and eyes open for possible people who might want to work with the show and things like that,
Yeah, no, and that's absolutely the way you should do it. One of the things that I emphasise to people who ask me how I've done things with the label is that one of the things that you need to know the most as someone who's, running a show, so to speak, is how to pass on your ethos and skills to others, because as we've both been over, you need a team behind you, and if you build that team to be the same kind of calibre of person with the same ethic as you, then I've no doubt it'll be successful.
Of course. If you look at lots of labels from the past, that's like what you're doing, it's grassroots stuff, isn't it? You start off with a couple of bands, next thing you got another couple of bands, next thing you're working alongside radio stations, gig promoters, next thing you know, you've got a big massive hub of people working and doing the same thing, and that's when I think when you achieve that, that's when you can really start pushing things, that's when you become something serious to look up to, you know what I mean? That the rest of the country will take serious,
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and I think that you should aim for that. And whilst being someone to look up to should be a passive thing, and I know it is for both of us, it would be nice one day, wouldn't it, to have made such a difference that people say, you know what, that guy was a big part of that. And to me, that's a little goal on the side. I do what I do because I love it. I do what I do because I care about musicians. I do what I do because I think they have a terrible deal in Liverpool at the moment. Yeah. You're doing the same thing. You want a hub for people to look up to get involved with, and that's exactly what we need. We need a community, and I think that Round Sound and Pyar Records are both very much doing the right thing. All I can say to people who are listening to the show is if you've got the same sort of attitude, you should definitely join us and get involved.
Yeah, I do find a lot more people, there's a couple of people I'm in conversation with at the moment, which I'm not at liberty to speak about just yet because they haven't quite made the decision or whatever, for whatever reason. But it's obviously, there's a lot of people quite interested in getting involved with the show, obviously I'll always have to ask, well, is it going to interest our acts? Is it something that's really worth doing? Is it viable and things like that? But I'm always open for ideas, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's another thing that is important as anything else. If you want to do something different, then go ahead and do something different. I mean, to us lot in the band and the label, we very much aim to find solutions to problems that everyone's kind of hit a brick wall with, and